Have you ever been invited to a Super Bowl or holiday party and not know what kind of delicious dish to bring? Well, I have a recipe that is guaranteed to knock the taste buds off everybody's tongue. It is a famous dish called taco salad. Taco salad is a Mexican dish. It is famous for its irresistible blend of beef, cheese, and salsa. There are many different ways to make a taco salad, yet I feel that the recipe that I have is quite delicious. The reason why taco salad is such a great dish to make is that people enjoy having the ability to dip the Tostito chip into the salsa. Although that process can get a little messy at times, but the taste will help forget about the mess. Every ingredient of a taco salad is delicious. There is a beefy taste, the cheesy taste, the zesty taste, which is the sour cream, the hot and tangy taste, which is the salsa, and of course the healthy taste, which is the fresh cut lettuce and tomatoes. Now that everyone is beginning to drool over my speech, I will begin to teach you how to make this taco salad. So if you can't stand the heat, then get out of the kitchen. First, all you need is 2 tomatoes, lettuce, jar of salsa, some sour cream, the topping, which is the shredded mozzarella cheese, and the ground sirloin, which I don't have. While the ground sirloin is cooking, you cook it on medium heat for about 15 minutes or until it turns brown. While the ground beef is cooking, you simply wash and cut the tomatoes and lettuce into small pieces. Once the ground sirloin beef is done cooking, then you put it as a bottom layer on top of the serving pan. After you do that, you add the cut pieces of lettuce as a second layer, and then the cut pieces of tomatoes as a third layer. After you're done with that, you add the salsa on top of the tomatoes to cover all the tomatoes. Then, to cover the salsa, you put on the sour cream. Now to top off the taco salad, you use the shredded mozzarella cheese. You simply just sprinkle it over the sour cream and you're all set. And the finished product ends up looking like this, with not the plastic on top. So, now that you guys are all experts on making taco salad, you can now have some. Thanks.
Sign language can be a very necessary communication tool for some, but for others, it can be a great way of talking in class without actually talking. There are a lot of benefits to learning sign language. It's a great communication tool to communicate with a whole new culture of people. The deaf culture is just like a Spanish culture or an Italian culture or anything like that. You can also have a private conversation in public and nobody will know what you're talking about. You can talk about people in front of them with sign language too, and nobody will know. The first step in learning sign language is learning the alphabet. The alphabet is 26 hand shapes, and each stands for a letter, right here. These are very, very important to learning sign language because each letter is usually used in a sign. For example, the sign for truck uses 2 T's, and the sign for yellow uses a Y. The next step in learning sign language is elementary level signs. These signs are much easier because they have a meaning behind them. For example, the sign for onion is like this, because when you cut an onion, you cry. The sign for boy is like the brim of a hat. The sign for girl is like a bonnet. And the sign for cat is like whiskers. These words can be easy to learn if you practice every day. The next step is learning more difficult signs. Usually they're in a list of some sort, so you know which ones to practice when and stuff like that. You should also use a sign language dictionary. It's good to look up words that you don't know and see signs. It describes the signs. If you're interested in taking class, they usually have lessons like this that show different signs every week and different sentences you can learn. And that's mostly how you learn sign language.
Have you ever been really nervous during a softball game or tryouts? If so, these are some helpful hints so that you'll feel more confident when you play. First, I'll start off with telling you some of the history. Softball is a form of baseball played on a smaller diamond with a bigger ball. Women and girls usually play fast-pitch softball, in which the ball is thrown underhand as fast as boys throw overhand. Women's softball started in 1943 during World War II for entertainment. Nearly 200,000 fans came out to watch these games. The girls started playing softball, but ended up playing baseball to get more attention from fans. That is how the sport came to be, and now I will show you some simple techniques. I'm going to demonstrate how to catch a ball, and this is a glove, and this first baseman usually has like a larger glove, so when they stretch, they can stretch easier. And like a shortstop would have a smaller one so they can get it quick and pick it up and throw it right away. For pop-ups, you want to make sure that you're like in your stance, which is down your knees like this, and you have your eye on the batter at all times. Because if you take your eye off the batter, like you might not have enough time. Like once the ball's hit, you need time to react, and you want to make sure that you block the sun with your glove, because a lot of times the sun can be really strong. So you want to like hold the glove up to the sun and watch the ball fall into the glove. And when you're doing pop-ups, if you're in the outfield, you don't want to walk back straight like that. You want to go to an angle so you don't fall on your back or something. In grounders, you're still watching the hitter at all times, and you're going to have your glove out ready, and you're down, and you're on the balls of your feet. And when you scoop up the ball, you want to bring your right or left hand, whatever hand you don't have your glove on, to put it on top of the ball and jump up. They call it the crocodile. Now hitting. This is the bat, a softball bat that they use. And you want to hit it like right out here on the sweet part of the bat. And if you're going to do a drive and you want to like make it go really far, you want to put your elbow up and your shoulder in, and you want to bend your knees. I like to line up my knuckles because it gives it like the ball a whip, the bat a whip. And you want to watch the ball hit the bat, because if you take your eye off the ball, it'll go like right past you. And you want to step forward, because if you step back, you lose all your power. And if you want to hit to, say, left field, you want to hit the ball before it gets you so that it'll go that way. And if you want to hit it to right, it depends on where the outfielders are standing. If there's like a big gap, you would want to hit it there. And if you want to go to right field, you hit it like a little bit late. Bunting, you want to get in the same stance as you would if you're hitting the ball, and you want to pivot your foot like that. And you want to have your bat tilt a little bit, and you want to make it a soft grip, because if you're like holding it really tight, the ball's gonna like bounce off and go like really far. But if you have like a nice loose grip on it, then it'll just drop. Drag bunt is the same thing. You want to pivot your foot, and what you want to do is get the bat in the vision of the catcher, so they'll drop the ball, so that the person to first could advance to second, or the person from second can advance to third. Fake bunt is the same thing as like a drag bunt. You want to make it so that it looks like you're bunting, so they'll move in, and then you just like, the next pitch you'll just like smack it out to outfield or something. And that's about it.
Have you ever wondered how to make fried dough? Well, I have. Here's a list of things you may need. Yeast, sugar, water, olive oil, salt, and flour. After you do that, you'll mix them all together, and it will turn out to look like dough, which is this. Or you could just go to the store and buy it, which I did. You will also need a fry later or a fry pan. A fry pan is probably easier, but a fry later probably works better. So the first thing you want to do is make the dough or go buy it. I suggest buying it. After you make your dough, you can cut it into pieces. Cut the fried dough into pieces you want. Then you're going to want to put oil in the fry pan or the fry later until they get really hot. Make sure you don't put your finger in the fry later or the fry pan because the oil is really hot and it will burn your skin. After it gets pretty hot, you can put the pieces of fried dough in, and you want to put the pieces of fried dough in the fry later on each side for 3 to 5 minutes until they get brown. And when you're flipping the fried dough, you want to use tongs, and if you tilt them up, then the oil will drip down your hand and burn your skin. After the fried dough is done, you're going to want to put it on a tray, like one of these, with paper towels at the bottom of it, so then the fried dough can dry out. And after it's all done, after that's done, you can sprinkle whatever you want, like powder or cinnamon. And I guess that's it.
I've never met anyone who doesn't like dirt pudding. That's why today I'm going to show you how to make it. It's my favorite dessert because of the pudding that's in it. This recipe was invented by Kraft Foods, and it contains several of their products, including Cool Whip and Jell-O instant chocolate pudding. Jell-O instant chocolate pudding was introduced in 1926 as Walter Baker's dessert, and later became known as Jell-O pudding. It went national in 1953, and soon after came many other flavors, including vanilla and butterscotch. In 1966, no-bake dessert recipes were introduced by Kraft Foods, including Jell-O, including dirt bread and cheesecake. In 1974, Bill Cosby became the spokesperson for Jell-O instant pudding, and he was so successful at this that he soon became the spokesperson for Jell-O gelatin. The things you'll need are, for utensils, you'll need a rolling pin and plastic bag, a large bowl and egg beater, a wire whisk, a measuring cups, and a spatula. The ingredients you will need are 2 packages of Jell-O instant pudding, Oreo cookies or other chocolate sandwich cookies, cream cheese, Cool Whip, a stick of butter, 1 cup confectioner's sugar, and that's it. The first thing you do is you crush the Oreo cookies. You can do that one of 2 ways. If you have a food chopper, you can chop the Oreo cookies with that. But if not, you can just put them in a resealable plastic bag, and use the rolling pin to crush them. The next thing you do is you use the electric egg beater to cream the cream cheese, the margarine, the Cool Whip, and the sugar together. You want to mix them very well until there's no lumps or anything. Then you need to mix 1.5 cups milk and the 2 packages of instant Jell-O pudding together. To do this, you need a separate bowl, or you can just clean out the Cool Whip container and use that as a bowl. Then you fold in the pudding mixture into the Cool Whip mixture using the spatula. Finally, you're ready to layer the 2 ingredients in your serving container, which can either be plastic cups or a plastic bowl. It doesn't matter how you layer them as long as you end with Oreo cookies on top. Some options for this recipe are you can use different ingredients like different flavor cookies, or you can use vanilla pudding. You can decorate them with gummy worms if you like, and then to store this you need to cover it with saran wrap and then keep it in the fridge until you're ready to serve. When you serve it, you need plenty of spoons and napkins. This is what they'll look like when they're done.
This is my favorite recipe because it's so easy to make and there's not too many ingredients, and it makes a lot. So if you make it for a party, you don't have to double or triple the recipe. It's fun to make, and you can serve it at many places, including the beach, parties, cookouts, and picnics. No matter how you serve it, it's always a favorite. Now let's see what some of our audience members think of it. Is it good? See, everybody likes this dessert. Thank you.
Today I'll be showing you how to play a sport that you can play your whole life regardless of age, size, or gender. I'll specifically show you how to make the most difficult shot in tennis, the serve. First though, I'll explain the rules of tennis. There are two different types of tennis. They can be played in singles and doubles. Singles has a smaller court space in that it narrows by about 2 feet on each side. Doubles uses the areas outside the singles court called alleys. The scoring system goes from 15, 30, 40, and the next point wins. If there's a tie at 40, it's called deuce, and the first person to win the next 2 points gets the point for the set. There are different shots and spins in tennis. A forehand is a shot taken from your side from your knee to your shoulder. It is taken on the side where your bottom hand is not crossing your body. A backhand is the same thing, except your bottom hand is crossing your body like this. An overhand shot is taken from over your head where you snap your wrist down. This is the only shot besides the serve that you snap your wrist down. The final shot I will be talking about is a shot called a lob. It is a shot that you hit over your opponent's head, and it is used to gain time and make your opponents run around. The serve, which I will be talking to you about, is where you have your legs about shoulder width apart like so. And you stand sideways, aiming which way you want to shoot. The next part is you toss the ball up just so you can hit it. It's right about at the top of your racket. As it gets to that height, you snap your wrist down so the ball doesn't sail over the court or wherever. After you do this, after you hit the ball down, you drag your back foot so that after you shoot, you'll be square to the where the ball went. Next, I'll be talking to you about what the racket's made of and the evolution of how they made rackets. When they first came out with tennis, you used mainly wooden rackets. That's all they had at that time. And the strings were made out of, it wasn't synthetic material like they make today. And about 15 years ago, they came out with aluminum rackets, which were a lot lighter than the wooden rackets, but were still pretty heavy. And now, recently, about 5 years ago, they came out with titanium and graphite rackets, which are extremely light. And now they have synthetic strings that hold out a lot longer. And nowadays, you can choose what you want for a compression on your strings, so that if you're not as strong, you can hit the ball harder because it's tighter or looser. And that's about it.
Have you ever been hungry and looking for a snack in the kitchen, but you're just too lazy to make anything that takes a lot of time and energy? Well, if you have, then I have the answer for you. It's a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It's one of my favorite foods, and it's so easy to make. So now I'm going to show you how to put together a properly made peanut butter and jelly sandwich. First, before I start, let me bring you up to date with the history of peanut butter and jelly. Peanut butter as a food is a fairly recent invention, little more than 100 years ago. Commercial brands are basically peanuts, sugar, salt, and stabilizing oil. Stabilizing oil keeps the peanut oil separating from the peanut paste. In 1890, an unknown St. Louis physician supposedly encouraged the owner of a food products company, George A. Bailey Jr., to process and package ground peanut paste as a nutritious protein substitute for people with poor teeth who couldn't chew meat. So we should all give thanks to Mr. Bailey for giving us the lovely substance called peanut butter. Now I'll tell you a little bit about the history of making fruit jelly. The making of jams and jellies started centuries ago in the Middle Eastern countries where sugar cane grew naturally. It is believed that returning crusaders first introduced jam and jelly to Europe. By the late Middle Ages, jams and jellies were popular there. Now what you've all been waiting for, I will demonstrate how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. All right. Take 2 pieces of bread, put them on the plate, and take a big knife so you can scoop a bunch out. And you put the peanut butter on one of the pieces of bread, and you put a bunch on. All right. You lay it down. Then you take some jelly, and you put it, and you kind of like scoop it on so you don't get it everywhere. And you do that. And then you just put the knife down, and you slap them together. And you can eat it. All right. And I hope you've all learned and enjoyed the wonderful, tasty process of making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Have you ever wondered how intricate patterns are put on all sorts of different clothes? Well, some people have. So today I'll go through all the steps of tie-dyeing. By the end of my speech, you all will be tie-dye experts. Personally, I think tie-dyeing is easy and fun, and people have thought to be practicing it since the 6th and 7th century. Other people don't know what time they started because there wasn't really a recorded time. The first record was in India and Japan, and they used tie-dyeing as a source of income. They used to trade it with other places. They used to use indigo and vegetable dyes to dye the cloths, but now it's replaced with synthetic dyes. In order to be an expert tie-dyist, you have to have the right materials. They are different colors of dye. This one's red and this one's green. You have to have squirt balls for each dye that you have. You need a thing called material called synthropol. This is for washing the cloths before you tie-dye them. You need a shower curtain or some sort of towel so that when you're tie-dyeing, you don't get like the table or something all like tie with dye on it. You need elastics to hold the cloth together, and most importantly, you need your cloth. Now there are 8 simple steps that go along with tie-dyeing. First, you have to wash your cloth. You want to have 100% cotton because it works the best. Somehow it holds the dye the best. So you wash the cloth, and you want to wash it with synthropol, and synthropol makes it so the dye stays in the cloth and it doesn't spread onto other colors or different things in the laundry. Then you fold the cloth. Now, there are many sorts of ways to fold it. There is the traditional spiral and some other ways you probably have seen but just don't know how to do them. So I'll show you. Here's one of the ways to do it. You fold your cloth, and you fold it again, and then you simply just tie the cloth as many times as you'd like. You make knots in them. So you just do that, and once that's done, you take the squirt bottles and you just put the dye wherever you want, like on different colors. You want like green or like whatever. And then to do a spiral, you lay it out. This one's kind of hard. You lay it out on a table because if you do it on a mattress, it doesn't like a material doesn't work. And you put like a spool or something in the middle, and you just twirl it. And once you have that, you have this little this one didn't come up very well. You have this little spiral, and you just put elastics around it like this. Now, this is the third step. You have to put elastics around. It's important to do this because, first of all, it allows you to make patterns, because once you put the elastics on, you can put the dye in between the elastics, and it forms a pattern. So you have to make sure the elastics are on, they're going to stay on, because they're going to stay on for the majority of the time that you are tie-dyeing. Then the next step is to take the dye and to put them in the little spaces. Now, you have to be very careful when you're doing this, because you don't want to put colors next to each other that are going to make like brownish colors, unless that's what you want. But you have to remember that the colors that you put next to each other are going to mix, and they're going to form whatever color that those two colors will make when they are put together. The fifth step is after you put the dye on, you have to put your cloth in a warm place for at least 24 hours. Now, the more you leave it there, the better the colors will and the brighter the colors will be afterwards. So you want to put your cloth in a plastic bag, but when you're putting it in, you have to be very careful, because when you slide it in the bag might mix colors that you don't want to be mixed. After 24 hours around, you take the cloth out of the bag. Now you have to take the cloth and rinse it under like a sink or something until the water is clear. Then you can wash the cloth in a washing machine or by hand, but it has to be in cold water. You can also use detergent for this. Now that you've finished your product, you have a wonderful shirt, bandana, or whatever you were tie-dyeing. The good thing about tie-dyeing is that once you've done it, you've had fun doing it, and you also can use the things for something. Like bandanas, you can wear them, and so you can wear shirts too. Also, like towels, you can use them. It's not one of those things that you like make and then you say, oh, what am I going to do with this? Now you should have an idea about how messy and time-consuming tie-dyeing is. I hope that you have a better understanding of how to tie-dye and how easy and fun it is. Thank you.
When most people play soccer with their friends or on a team, nobody wants to play goalie. Either they don't want to be they don't know what they're doing and don't want to be the reason for the loss, or they want to score all the goals and be the reason for the victory. Also, most people don't want a soccer ball being kicked at them at high speeds, or they could also be hurt while playing goalie. Many techniques such as running, jumping, throwing, and diving can be used in other sports. You can use the skills that you have as a goalie in sports like baseball, softball, and tennis. Today I'll show you how to punt, catch, and kick the ball, but first, a little history. Nobody knows the true origin of soccer because the three main skills, running, kicking, and throwing. But a few people that they think are people who use it as rituals. They use a ball which represented the sun, and they kicked it across a newly planted field for good luck. And the ball would be made out of animal skin, stitched around grass, or an actual animal head. Also, the Chinese, 2,000 years ago, they played Tisu Shu. Tisu means kicked with foot, and Shu means stuffed leather ball. It was played during the Han Dynasty. Also, the Japanese, they played Kamari, which was similar to soccer. and the Greeks, they played episkiros, which involved kicking and throwing a ball, and they had boundary lines just like on a soccer field. I've been playing soccer since I was little, and I started playing goalie when I was around 10. And many of my coaches taught me all the techniques that I've basically learned, like how to catch a ball, where to be positioned, and how to cut off the angle. And the equipment that you'll need to play soccer are the usual that every other soccer player would need: cleats, a ball, shorts, socks, and shin pads. But a goalie needs a little more. They need a shirt, which has protection in the elbows. And you can also, for diving, and it also helps tell the difference between the goalie and the other players. And gloves, they protect your hands, and they also give you better grip on the ball. So now I'll bring up Allie, and I'll show you some techniques. Go over here. When you're catching a ball, you want your hands to look like a W. It gives you a better grip on the ball. And if you have it like this, there's a risk of it sliding out, so throw me the ball. See, I caught the ball in a W. It gives you a better grip, and the ball won't slide out. Now when a ball's rolling at you, you want to have your legs closed so the ball won't go through your leg. And if it hits your leg, it can just bounce off and you can catch it. But if it hits something, it can just go right through your legs. So roll me the ball. And you always want to bring it to your chest because it has protection. But if you have it like this, there's a risk of you dropping it, and the other team can score on you. And also there's jumping for the ball. When you're jumping for the ball, the most dominant leg, your strongest leg, you want to jump off. And you want to have the other leg up higher, so protection for when the other team's coming at you. So like that. So for protection. And okay. Now when a goalie has the ball, they have 4 options: punt, kick, roll, or throw the ball. When you punt, you can't go outside the 18-yard line, and you can only take 3 to 4 steps, but the rest never count. And when you kick, you want to kick with your laces, with your strongest leg, and you want to aim your body and the foot that you're not kicking with in the position and in the direction where you want to kick it. So your body and your foot will be aiming, and you can kick it in that position. Also, when you kick, when a goalie's outside the 18-yard line, they cannot pick up the ball. So they have to kick it, and when you kick, it's just like punting, but you don't have the ball in your hand. You plant your foot that you're not kicking with, and you just kick with the laces, and you aim your body and your foot where you're going to be kicking, and that will give you height and distance on the ball. Now the net. It has 2 8-feet-high posts with an 8-yard crossbar, and it has a 6-yard line, which the goal kicks are taken on, and an 8-yard line, 18-yard line. Now when you're cutting off the angle, you want to come out, and you never want to stay on the goal line because you give them 8 yards to shoot at. So when you come out, for example, if I stand all the way back here, you can see all the area that I'm at. But if I come out right here, well, you can't really see it, but you cut off the angle, and they have to shoot around you, which they'll most likely miss. So, and when you're cutting off the angle, you want to bend your knees and have your arms out like this. So you'll be ready to dive left or right and jump. And you want to be on the balls of your feet. So that's pretty much it. And always keep your eye on the ball. That's it.
Have you ever been nervous when you go into a basketball game? Well, I have, and hopefully this will help you. I'm doing the fundamentals of basketball. There's 4 categories that I broke the fundamentals of basketball up into. One is shooting. The technique that I learned is the beef technique. The first part of beef is when you bend your knees. You're supposed to bend your knees, square up to the basket. You keep your eyes on the basket, put your elbow up, so it should be in a straight position, and then follow through after the shot, so your index fingers touch the ball the last time. The next part of the categories are dribbling. You always try to keep your head up when you dribble. And you should have strong dribbles so you could just push the ball up the court, keep your head up so you can look for your other teammates. The next category is defense. For defense, you should always bend your knees, get in not a level position. You should have your foot back a little bit more. And you should keep your hands out to try to swipe at the ball if the defender or if the offensive player gives the ball to you, gives ball. You should never lose sight of the ball, and you should never stay right on your man unless he's a really good shooter. And the fourth category is passing. When you catch the ball, you should have both hands on the ball, obviously, and you always step towards the pass. That's a chest pass. Should be right at your other teammate's chest. The bounce pass is supposed to be halfway in. You also step into that. Should bounce up, also be at the other teammate's chest. And an overhead pass is used to, if you can't get a bounce pass or a chest pass in, you always go over the head and lob it to your other teammate as not to get stolen the ball. And I hope that will be effective for going into basketball games.
All right, today I'm going to teach you the basic parts of snowboarding. And this is my snowboard. And these are the bindings where you put your boots into. And that's about it. And then this is like the back. When you're snowboarding, like, you have to try to keep your weight back. And I don't know, there's nothing really to explain. You just have to try it for yourself. And these are my boots. And yeah, and right now I'd like to show a video on some snowboarding. That's it.
Today I'm going to be showing you how to do one of the 4 strokes in swimming. In swimming there's 4 strokes: the backstroke, butterfly, freestyle, and breaststroke. And today I'm going to show you the backstroke, and it's the only stroke that you start in the water and you do a back dive from the starting block. And first I'll start with the history. In swimming it goes way back over 4,000 years because it shows it in ancient carvings. And it began as a survival skill, and it became a sport in the 19th century, and the butterfly was the most recent. In swimming, when you race, you use a bathing cap and you put it on your head or whatever, and you wear goggles so you can see underwater. And this is a picture of the backstroke in the water. And when you're doing the backstroke, you kick your feet and your hand kind of turns out and you just bring it back, and when you get to the side you push it down, so the water, you push the water and you go farther, and you roll your shoulders and you alternate either way, and that's about it.
Have you ever found yourself mowing for hours and hours and making only $5? I have 2 ways to have you make more money when you're mowing a lawn. The first way is the dirt method. First, you get some dirt after you mow the lawn, and you rub it on your face, and just, you rub it on your arms or whatever. And, you make yourself look nice and filthy and stuff. And then you just go up to the lady and go, "Oh, lady, I've been mowing your lawn for like 3 hours, and this worm came up and he bit me, and it was just horrible." And she'll give you like $50 just for that. And then you have a second method. You have the water method. Now you take the water first and you pour a little bit on your head, just a little bit, and then you just get it on your clothes and you rub it on your hands and stuff, and then you go, "Oh, lady, I'm sweating. It's like 100 degrees out, and my grandmother's dying. I need money for a funeral," and she'll be glad to give you at least $100 just for that. Now these 2 methods are very helpful in getting money, and plus making yourself look like a fool, and that's all. There you go.
Today I'm going to show you how to go up on point. And point is part of ballet, I guess, what should we call it? It means when you go like up on your toes and you wear like shoes that protect your toes, different turns and stuff like that. And point's been around for like a while, and it was started when the ballet, like the Nutcracker, that was like back in 1700s, Tchaikovsky and stuff. So it's about regular dance, about 25,000 years old, but it's only a couple hundred. There's like 5 positions in point: first, second, third, and fourth and fifth, and it's also in ballet. I can show you them. This is first, second, third. You really can't do in point, but sort of can. And fourth, and fifth. I'll explain positions now. And first is basically just your heels touch together and make a V shape. Second is the same, but it's about a foot apart. And third, you make a T with your feet. You put your right heel or your left heel, doesn't matter which foot, against the arch of your foot, and your arch of your foot is like right on this part. Fourth position is about your feet about a foot apart, and they make like an L. And then the fifth is the same way, but they're together. And when you go on point, they just go tight. Your legs stay tight, and that's it.
Have you ever had to take a lie detector test before? Well, if you have, you're a pretty unlucky guy because they are hard to get by. Now, I'm going to show you a few pointers how to get through a lie detector test without getting nabbed. Now, first of all, you have to trick yourself like you know that you're not guilty. Even though you are, you got to pretend that you're not. So what you want to do is when you get in there, you got to stay calm and cool. You can't be getting all nervous that they're going to be asking you these questions. Now, you're going to be hooked up to this machine, the polygraph machine. And what it doesn't actually test whether you're lying or not, but it's going to measure your heartbeat and things like breathing patterns to see whether you're lying or not. And they make certain charts and stuff, and it tells you if you're telling the truth. So first of all, know what you're going to say and think of what they're going to ask you. They're going to ask you some simple questions that you're going to know the answers to, and then they're going to ask you questions like, where were you Friday night? So what you want to do is, when they ask you the simple questions, just kind of get confused. Pretend like you don't know the answer and kind of stutter it out.
And then when they ask you one of those, where were you that night questions, you gotta just do the same thing. That way, the chalk gets all messed up and they can't use it and you're free. But if you can't trick yourself into knowing that you didn't do it, there's always one simple trick. You just take a safety tack, right? And you stick it in your shoe. And every time they're gonna ask you a question, you just kind of step on the tack. And it'll definitely get your heart rate up, and you'll stop breathing heavy, and that'll also throw off the test. So if you want to pass a lie detector test, just buy my book, How to Pass a Lie Detector Test by Dave Ibsen, and you'll pass with flying colors. That's all I have for today, folks. Have a good day.